As night falls on the fourth day of the main event, the mission has changed. For 3.5 days, the goal was simple: survive.
He's doing business!
But now it's time to conquer, to accumulate, to risk.
Think we're playing tiddlywinks? Let's gamble, man.
Ice, baby. Ice.
We've reached the halfway point, and it's not for the faint of heart.
I think of it as a marathon.
12 hours a day for 7 straight days. It's a war. A war I hope to win.
Only 2 options remain.
Ain't gonna be easy winning this $5 million. Ain't gonna be easy.
Vanquish or perish. Welcome to the World Series of Poker presented by Miller High Life. The grueling nature of this event is written boldly across the face of every remaining player, but we're only halfway through this World Championship.
Hello everybody, I'm Lon McCarron, he's Norman Chad. We continue our journey to the final table in this World Series. 149 players still in the running. And you know, 148 of them always know where number 149 is. I'm speaking, of course, of the omnipresent foghorn of poker, Mike Matusow.
And we'll keep a lookout for the infamous Mike Matusow blow-up. That's where he shoots himself in the foot, then takes off his other shoe and shoots himself in that foot, then takes both injured feet and sticks them in his mouth.
And there is Mike the Mouth Matusow, holder of 2 World Series bracelets, finished 6th place in the main event back in 2001.
And across the table is Greg Raymer, who tangled with Matusow earlier in the tournament, a little verbal altercation. Raymer is nicknamed Fossilman because he has fossils on the table.
The blinds are at 2,000 and 4,000 as we begin. The ante is 500.
3.5 days in, the Mike Matusow blow-up hasn't happened yet. They should have like a lottery out there, like on the betting board. When will Mike Matusow blow up today in the tournament?
I didn't realize you was that big of a superstar, man.
And they could, you know, put odds on it.
Ken Borer giving the needle to Mike Matusow, who obviously believes he is big enough to be a line here in Vegas. On the Miller High Life pocket cam, David Angel's looking at an ace-8 suited, and he will bet 4,000 chips over to Greg Fossilman Raymer, a patent attorney from Connecticut. He's got a 10-7 suited. Borer will fold, as will Hilger. Over to Tobias Persson, one of our European players here at the World Series, a huge contingent of them. 5-4 offsuit.
Shouldn't this kid be in a video arcade or something? How old is he?
He's 23. Persson calls over to Matusow.
Deal.
And he'll check the big blind with a queen-jack unsuited. The flop comes down. Matusow with a pair of jacks takes the lead.
But Matusow's going to sit on him. Nobody got much of that flop, and everybody will check.
Persson picks up a pair of 5s, but Matusow's jacks still lead.
10,000.
And Matusow bets 10,000.
And the rest of the table doesn't have much of anything. A couple of inside straight draws.
David Angel folds. Raymer kicks it in. Persson folds too.
Give y'all a free look.
Matusow wins.
Here's a free look at the river card, and Persson would have made 3 5s. Lon, if they'd had the rabbit cam during my first marriage, I would have made it through the honeymoon.
Mike Matusow sets the tone to begin today's action in this no-limit Texas Hold'em main event. The spectators here at the Horseshoe Casino have been treated to world-class displays of poker from a number of superstars still competing. The biggest name of all is the biggest name in poker, 2-time world champion Doyle Brunson sitting at the outer tables.
Doyle now over 70. Winning the main event here would be like George Foreman winning the heavyweight title next week.
I'm all in.
And Doyle's going to risk everything he has with ace-king.
Well, I've tried it all. I've tried limping in, I've tried raising it.
Next to act is Daniel Larsson of Sweden.
This guy might want to try a haircut.
Doyle Brunson has all his chips at risk now.
I call.
And Larsson's going to call with an ace-jack unsuited, and Doyle's lost the smile.
Well, Doyle in a dominant position, though, and the flop puts him even in a better position.
Brunson's ace-king leads Larsson's ace-jack turn, now is a 2.
And now Larsson can knock Brunson out with a jack and jack only on the river.
And now the river card to come, and it is a king, and Doyle Brunson wins the hand and doubles up. Great to see Doyle Brunson still in it. He brings such a sense of history and dignity to this main event.
A lot of people want to win this tournament, but for me, it's my life.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's life or death this time. I'm gonna get this close, I ain't gonna mess up.
We've heard that from Mike Matusow once or twice. As we continue action at our featured table to John Esposito, who won a World Series bracelet back in 1999, a limit hold'em event. Espo with a 9-8 suited bets 4,000 over to Mike Matusow.
I'm gonna raise it.
Matusow with an ace-jack unsuited makes it 12,000.
You know what scares me, Lon?
What's that?
I think I've owned every shirt that's being worn on this table.
See if Espo wants to come with them 2 7s.
Mike thinking Espo has 2 7s.
Espo not that good, but cards he can come with.
And now the flop gives Matusow a pair of aces and 2 9s for Esposito.
We just saw Matusow check the top pair on the flop on the last hand, and now he's done it again.
Now the turn gives Matusow 3 aces.
And he cannot lose the hand if he stays in it, as the check mark indicates. And this time, though, he's going to bet these 3 aces on the turn.
Mike Matusow comes out with 12,000. Esposito will call it with his aces and 9s.
And he's calling because he doesn't figure Matusow has an ace in his hand.
And a jack now gives Matusow a full house. Not that he needed to get any stronger.
Espo checks, and it's a question of how much Mike wants to bet.
20,000. Esposito calls it and sees the bad news.
Good hand, Mikey.
Thanks.
Mike Matusow with a couple of nice early wins here at the featured table. He's got a nice chip stack, but he's going to need a lot more to get the win he craves so badly.
The World Series of Poker is brought to you by Milwaukee's Best Light. Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste. And in part by Levitra. Ask your doctor about it today. Levitra, when it counts. And Harrod Entertainment.
The main event is a grueling, physically draining adventure for all the players. The 12-hour days will quickly wear anybody down, especially when you're 58 years old like Dan Harrington, who admits it gets tougher every year to sit through so many hands of poker, especially when you're not getting the cards.
And Dan needs cards to win. He's not an aggressive type of player. He plays solid cards, and if he doesn't receive them, his chips are going to dwindle.
So Action Dan needs to make something happen and make it happen right away. There's Rose Ritchie, a 48-year-old grandmother in her first World Series. She is the last remaining woman in the field. And Rose has all her chips at risk right now and needs some help on the river. And it looks like she got it.
Yeah! Woo!
Amarillo Slim once was famously quoted incorrectly, Lon, if a woman ever wins the World Series, I'll cut my throat. Well, we're one step closer to that reality.
Moving over to Davin Anderson, who was 5th in chips as we began the day. He's in the hand against Randy Holland. Anderson leads with his jacks against Holland's 10s.
How much you got left?
Randy Holland has 2 World Series bracelets, and he's taking a look to see if he might want to put Davin Anderson all in here.
All right, I call.
And Davin Anderson puts in his final 70,000 chips with a pair of jacks and the lead. Turn card now is a 7.
Which means Holland can knock out Anderson with a 10 and a 10 only on the river.
And the river card is an ace, and the jacks hold up for Anderson. He doubles them at the expense of Randy Holland. So Davin had been up big, down low with his last chips in the pot, and now he's on his way back. Back now to our featured table where the blinds are still 2,000 and 4,000. Action over to Fossilman, Greg Raymer. And he's looking at a Queen 2 unsuited.
Not much to look at, but he'll play.
11,000. Over to Ken Borer, and he will fold. Matt Hilger now.
He's in the big blind, Jack 9 suited.
From Atlanta, Georgia, in his first World Series of Poker, 37 years old. And Hilger will call it.
Cost him an additional 7,000.
And now the flop. Hilger now with a pair of 9s takes the lead. And he'll check.
I used to wear glasses like that, but every time the cops stopped me for a traffic violation, I was toast.
Fossilman bets 15,000, and Hilger will call. And now the turn card. Raymer now 1 spade short of a flush.
So Fossilman had bet with nothing on the flop. Hilger checks.
Owen.
Oh,
All in.
And on a draw, Greg Raymer goes all in.
All in? Yes, sir.
And now a big decision for Hilger, who's only got about 100,000 chips left.
Can't say how much you have.
He's got you covered, bottom line.
I know he's got me covered. I just want to know how much of his stack he's risking. It's almost 170 total.
Yeah, this is a bet I couldn't have made, and this is why I can't play no limit. Raymer set this up by betting on the flop when he had nothing. He's now betting most of his stack on just a draw. Hilger's got the much better hand right now, but the aggressive play forces Hilger out.
So Raymer was one spade short of that flush, and the rabbit cam shows the river would have been another spade.
The rabbit can is a moot point. Raymer won the hand with great aggressive play.
Nice bet.
This ain't easy, man.
No, it's not supposed to be.
I tell you what.
What good would it be if it was easy?
For anybody out there that thinks they want to play poker for a living, don't do it. It's the sickest thing any human being could ever do. Ever.
It's a pain in the ass, ain't it?
It's just sick. It's just complete compulsive sickness.
And it's a profession that Matusow has lived through in his best and worst times, yet he keeps coming back for more.
How good am I? Well, in the old days, I used to have a big ego and say nobody plays better than me. Nobody plays, and I was convinced of it. And the truth of the matter is big egos in poker will take you down. You got to believe you're good, but you got to be humble. I was set for life. I was a millionaire. I was set, and I blew it all. Life in the fast lane could take over anybody, you know, partying and strippers and the Vegas lifestyle. And I watched my whole poker life go down the tubes in 2 years, and I lost it all. As much as I've partied the last 3 years, I feel like I'm like 90. It's tough to actually get your confidence back to believe you're as good as you used to be. Once you think you can't win, you're done, and that's the whole thing of being able to bounce back. I've gone through the roughest times of my life ever, and I fought through it, I battled through it, and I'm back. I'm playing great. I am playing at that level I played at 3 years ago, and that's nothing better, nothing greater feeling for me. From the day I played my first hand of poker, the only thing in my life was thought about was winning this tournament.
So second place in this one, no good for you, right?
No. Anything less than first, I just go and kill myself.
Matusow doesn't need a sidekick, but it looks like Ken Borer has applied for the job.
I think he's got it, too. Matusow now raises the big blind 12,000 with an ace-9 unsuited.
Raise to 12.
Action to David Angel. A suited ace-queen.
Call.
Makes the call. Fossilman, Greg Raymer gets out of the way, as does Ed Foster. Over to Ken Borer.
We're going to have at least three-way action.
And he will call also with a 2 jacks. Couple of 8s for Hilger.
Don't do nothing stupid now, buddy.
Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black?
Now they got to force him.
Matusow got what he wanted. He didn't want to raise there, and there wasn't a raise.
John Esposito, well, he says hi to his son, John, and then kicks in his cards. Action over to Tobias Persson in the big blind with a suited 4-3.
And he will come in.
Anybody over from the rail want to call this pot?
It's like a home game. I believe deuces and one-eyed jacks are wild in this hand.
Look what you started, man. See? Look what you
Teach me
started.
to raise it in the one hole. Try and steal.
Unbelievable. You got something, huh?
And now 5 to the flop, and Hilger actually catches a set of 8s.
So he's the one who's got something now, and Matusow will check.
As does David Angel. Now over to Ken Borer with a couple of jacks. And he'll put in 20,000 chips.
20 dimes.
And Matt Hilger, with his 3 8s, goes all in.
Some people might have slow played that, but he might want to isolate somebody and go heads up.
Let's see, what will I do with this hand? Think I'll fold.
Matusow mucks over to Angel. He folds now to Borer.
You hit it. You hit the flop. I should have raised before the flop. I can't believe I let that flop. You hit it. I'm way behind. How much? 55. Oh,
Is that a tell?
That's a good sign there over there, buddy.
78.
The yellow. That's a good sign.
As a rule, the more guys talk, the less likely they're going to call a bet.
I'm not going to chase you. Simple as that.
Not hand, sir.
So Ken Borer folds and Matt Hilger wins it, going all in with his 3-8.
See, you got smart, you didn't get stupid before the flop, and you won all that beautiful money. Nice hand, Matthew.
Thank you. Give away $35,000 on that hand because I played it, misplayed it.
Man, what are you doing leaving him in like that, man? You should have re-raised. You told me
What were
that.
you doing in the hand, man? You come in right under the gun.
I had nothing.
You hurt me bad that time,
I had
man.
a 2 and a 9.
I had to respect your raise. You raised him right under the gun.
I had 2 9s.
Oh, you did have 2 9s?
He called, he called, she called, they called, who called? What do you want me to do?
But in the end, the no call for Borer was indeed the right call.
The World Series of Poker presented by Miller High Life. Main event.
Yes! Professional partner, get my money back, man. Unbelievable! You believe that? I like to play this guy. Good job?
Good job.
Suckering little by little.
That is the verbose Bobby Chung in the outer tables, who seems to put an exclamation mark on every proclamation he screams. And we can't call him the mouth, I don't think. We already have one of those.
I gotta believe Matusow talks in his sleep.
We've weeded through all the donkeys. I'm sure there's probably like 50 donkeys left.
Matusow is nicknamed the Mouth, and it gets him into trouble sometimes, as Greg Raymer found out when the two squared off earlier in this tournament.
You gotta stop with me, buddy. I'm gonna bust you if you with me. You ain't playing with kids, buddy.
All right, Mikey.
I got big. You got little.
Talk about him, Mike. It's all right. What's in your head? Talk about yourself all you want. He's joking around. We know that.
I'm just joking, bro. You know that. Uh-oh.
He doesn't understand your joke, man.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm just messing with you.
Well, enthusiasm one thing, taunting still another, but I think that went a bit too far.
It did, but Raymer handled himself very well in that spot line.
Keep your glasses off so I can see you.
Yes, my plan is to make it as easy for you as possible.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I didn't appreciate your comments. You can.
And I apologized, didn't I?
Not really.
I didn't. I said I apologized to you.
I didn't realize you said that.
I do apologize.
I didn't hear that.
I was out of line and I apologize.
I closed my ears at that point, so
I was
didn't
out of
hear
line
that.
and I apologize.
Accepted.
I wouldn't say warmth exchange between the two.
Not future roommates.
Fossilman now on the Miller High Life pocket cam, looking at a couple of fives.
There he goes, raising my blind for the 462nd time today.
Yeah, but he don't have anything this time.
11,000 from Raymer. Borer will fold. Hilger does likewise over to John Esposito. Ace-King suited.
What's the bet?
11 dimes.
40 more.
Esposito has had very little to play today, so this ace-king suited must feel like it's got neon flashing all around it for him.
And he is all in with his ace-king.
Let's race, I call.
Fossilman will call it.
Esposito, a slight underdog to stay alive in this tournament.
And the flop comes up dry for Esposito. He's even a bigger dog now. The turn card now a straight draw for Esposito.
So if he gets a 10 for a straight or an ace or a king, Johnny Espo can stay alive.
And the river card. It's another jack and no help. Greg Raymer wins the hand and eliminates John Esposito.
Esposito finished 12th in the main event in 1995, 19th in 96. This year he bests nearly 2,500 players and finishes 108th.
So Greg Raymer wins the hand. His Connecticut patent attorney perhaps has patented a brand new winning look at the poker table with his amazing hypnotic spectacles.
Many players, when I'm wearing those glasses, will say they just can't look at me. It's too disconcerting, it's just too annoying to stare me down.
I look at his eyes and I'm confused.
Many players, if they're uncomfortable, maybe they'll make a a bad decision.
I probably would have moved in if it wasn't for those glasses. They just...
I know, they're good.
When you're looking down, the hologram really doesn't show. So if I put them on for the first time and I look up at you, and then it just, bam, I've seen people just jump.
Raise all in.
One guy actually yesterday at the beginning of the day was like, you know, oh God, don't look at me with those. You're making me sick to my stomach.
Can you take off your glasses so I can see what's cooking?
I don't really do it because I think it adds a significant edge to my game. But if it adds any at all, and it's fun, why not do it?
I think his eyewear is off-putting, and when you combine it with his aggressive style of play, it could get under somebody's skin.
Boy, tomorrow's going to be a long, long, long day.
I hope it's a long day.
Not me.
Well, if it's a super short day, that means bad news.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a good point.
Better a long day than a too short day.
Increase as everyone is in the money and people are gambling to get more chips. Rob Boyd in his first World Series finish in 110th place as his proud brother Dutch looked on. Daniel Larson, who tried to knock out Doyle Brunson earlier tonight, finished midnight earlier than he would have liked, and only elimination could silence Bobby Chung, our 102nd place finisher. And now we check in with Rose Ritchie, the last woman left in the field. And as an underdog in this hand, Rose Ritchie will risk all the chips that she has against Ben Johnson's two queens.
An incredible run for Rose Ritchie. She has outlasted more than 95% of the field, but to stay alive now, she's going to need an ace or a club.
And this Florida grandmother looking to have her prayers answered.
One more club.
And a turn card, two of spades, no help to Rose.
One ace or club.
One last chance for Rose Ritchie.
And the river card, seven of hearts, wins it for Ben Johnson.
Good hand.
Rose Ritchie eliminated in 98th place, the last woman left in the field.
Good luck, everybody.
And this was the year of the woman at the World Series. 3 of them won open event bracelets. Rose Ritchie, the best standing of any female here in the main event.
And she earned some money and a lot of respect from this entire field. Back to our featured table now.
And now less than 100 people looking for that $5 million first prize.
Borer and Hilger will fold. Action over to Mike the Mouth Matusow. Got a 9-7 suited with spades.
I raise.
And he'll raise to 12,000. Over to Fossilman.
He is in the small blind.
Ace Jack, 2 diamonds. And he'll put in 36,000, a raise from Raymer.
Call.
Matusow will make the call, will go to the flop. 10-9-3, a pair of nines now for Mike.
All in.
Raymer acting decisively and aggressively again, going all in on just a draw. He's got the nut flush draw. He had 2 overcards against the pair of nines.
Count that.
And Matusow apparently considering risking most of his chips with a pair of nines.
And these two dancing again, and they've had a lot of frays between each other.
About 230,000, huh? Well, if I'm right, I'm a chip leader. If I'm wrong, I'm hurting. Mike, you always had faith in your reads, buddy. You always had faith in your reads. Don't let your reads let you down one time this time. Please don't let it be wrong.
If Matusow calls, Raymer's tournament life is at stake here.
230,000, right?
241,000.
How much?
241,000.
Just that? That's it?
If I counted it right.
Told you I was gonna bust you. You came after me, didn't I? Don't let me be wrong, God. Call.
Mike the Mouth will risk about 2/3 of his chips to try to knock out Raymer.
Wrong, God. No diamond, baby.
Don't let me get unlucky. One time, baby.
Blank on a turn, dealer. Do blank.
Turn card, 2 of diamonds, and that gives Greg Raymer the winning flush.
Yes!
How satisfying it must be for Raymer.
I play to win, baby. I play to win. You got to get 26 million in chips. I play to win.
And that rips the heart out of Mike Matusow, not to mention 2/3 of his chips going to Raymer.
You know why I called him before the flop? Because I knew what he had before the flop.
Thank you for busting me, Mike.
But I knew he had nothing.
He didn't have exactly nothing. He actually did have a draw.
Don't make a difference.
Right?
It's going to be more hard work to get the money. You don't understand. I know what's going on. See, not many people have enough to put it all in that much chips right there against a big stack. Not many. See, I don't care if I go broke. I just want to win. I got no regrets what I did. None at all. If I'd have mucked, I'd have had more regrets.
Mike the Mouth said that Raymer had no hand to start last time. You know, Raymer had ace-jack suited. Mike the Mouth had 9-7 suited. You tell me who had no hand. To tell you the truth, that last hand was one of those Mike Matusow blow-ups.
Now Matusow with a couple of tens, raises to 15,000. Action now to Greg Raymer with a suited ace-9 of clubs. And he's going to call the Matusow bet. So the rivalry continues.
And Raymer will stare directly across the table at Matusow.
We think. We don't know where he's looking, really. And the flop, Matusow's tens are still best.
They both check, though.
And now a king of spades on the turn. No help. Both players check. And now the river card is an ace. Raymer has the best hand with 2 aces.
He'll check. Matusow might regret not betting earlier in this hand. Unless he makes a big play here at a small pot, he's going to lose this one.
And now Matusow flips the cards over, and Raymer shows him the aces. Monetarily, a small win for Greg Raymer, but a huge moral victory.
I think Matusow is still stewing over Raymer making that earlier flush, and now after losing this pot, he's going to have to stew a little longer.
About 90 players left, including Doyle Brunson, who's being visited by departed former world champion Phil Hellmuth.
I'll tell you what, I really am pulling for you hard. Break all the records, show me I can win when I'm 70, baby.
He got one more inning, didn't he?
Oh, he might have 5, 6, 10 more in him.
Doyle has that "has he left yet" look on his face. And actually, Chris Ferguson at a nearby table in better position than Doyle because he doesn't have Phil Hellmuth on his shoulders.
Well, Doyle, one of the 3 world champions still left in the field. Ferguson, of course, one of the other ones. Very intimidating at any table he sits at. And he bet this hand on the river. Everyone else folded around him. And Ferguson still alive and well in this main event. The 3rd former champion still alive in the field, Dan Harrington. Harrington finds this multi-day main event very draining.
Last year I thought was tough with 839, but this staggers the imagination. I predicted that no one over 45 would win this event, and I still hold with that prediction.
Let's play poker.
I'm now 58 years old. My attention span is not as good. My energy level is not as good. You got to be young. I mean, you got to be in your 20s and 30s to do this.
What the hell? Let's gamble.
The beauty of this game is that someone who's older like myself, luck helps to mask the loss of ability that you've had over the years due to your age. When you're playing a game and you're under a lot of pressure, you make sure you're using the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
Dan Harrington looking a bit healthier in chips. His demeanor, though, maybe has something to be desired.
How good can your demeanor be when you got that hat on top of your head?
After a cool down period, Mike Matusow returns to find a new player at the table.
Sir, welcome to the table.
Thank you.
Wow, that's some chips. At least we got somebody to take on this bully over here, man.
Who's the bully?
4.
4?
He just took down a big pot off this other guy.
I'll teach him a lesson for you.
Hope so.
Damn, how many chips you got? Like 700?
800.
You only need 25,200,000 more.
What's your name, sir?
John.
John? Greg or Fossilman?
What's that?
Fossilman, easier to remember.
Fossilman?
Fossilman, or Greg if you prefer, but...
Well, the new man at the table is 21-year-old John Murphy, Santa Barbara. First to act here will be Greg Raymer. He's got an ace-king suited, and he'll bet 14,000 chips. Over to Ed Foster from Northampton, England. He's looking at an unsuited king-queen. A lot of people think poker players have the profession to envy, but this guy is an international fly fisherman.
Excuse me?
International fly fisherman.
Yeah, I'm an international venture capitalist.
Foster will raise to 30,000. Hilger will fold over to the new man at the table. They call him Murph Dog, John Murphy.
One of my superstitions, Lon, when I sit down at a table, I don't like to play the first hand. It's weird. I always think bad things are going to happen to me. He's probably going to play this and lose all his chips.
Good call.
A couple of jacks, and he will call. The ball now back to Raymer.
And this has been his table, his house. He's pretty much owned it.
Raise.
And Raymer will raise it. 80,000 now.
Raise is one of the first 3 words Greg Raymer ever learned.
The unfortunate soul caught in between the 2 big dogs, Ed Foster, will cast away his cards. Now up to Murphy.
How much do you have left?
That's not something Raymer's heard much of.
65 for 70.
Murphy looks like he's trying to decide whether he wants the Happy Meal or the McNuggets.
And the youngest player left in this tournament folds to Greg Raymer, who still bullies this table at his whim.
Good raise.
It was a good raise. And again, naked aggression is often rewarded at No Limit Hold'em.
And Fossilman keeps a firm grip on his table.
The Toyota Points Leader is brought to you by Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized.
Our Toyota Player of the Year leaderboard shows Daniel Negreanu at the top. 2 players further down from here still alive in the tournament have a chance to overtake him. Chris Ferguson and Blair Rodman. Should they win the main event, will win that award. Howard Lederer is in 5th place on that Toyota leaderboard. He was eliminated earlier in the tournament by none other than Doyle Brunson. A disappointing finish for sure for the professor. What do gamblers like Howard Lederer do when their main event is over? Well, as we learn in this edition of The Nuts, they keep on gambling.
What do you shoot?
Right now, I'd be lucky to break 95.
All right, I shoot about 205. It's my first time ever playing 9 holes, but you know, I like to gamble. 500 a hole? 1,000, come on. You got me out the house, you want to play 500 a hole? I mean, you're incredible. Oh, no. Sit. Oh, gosh. Wow, that was bad. Oh, gosh.
Robert, I'm in here.
You find your ball? I bet you don't get on the green, Robert. How much you want in the bet? 500? Oops, he dogged it. No more, you got the 500. How's this thing work in reverse? We're gonna play this hole straight up, $5,000. I would like to bet more. On this hole? Yeah. How much you want to play for? 10,000. You bet. 1 ball for 10 G's. Trino! I'm ready to play for 50,000 next hole. Oh my gosh!
Gentlemen, I hate to hassle you. It's taken you a little longer than 2 hours to play 3 holes, so you're about to set the world record here at CCC at a 12-hour round, so if you could, please pick it up just a little bit.
We'll try.
You got it.
I got a feeling if those guys were playing miniature golf, they could lose a ball on the windmill hole. Poker players have all the control on the card table and no control off of it.
No control of a 7-iron, putter, or anything. Back to our featured table, and Greg Raymer checking out a 10-9 unsuited. He will call the big blind. The blind's at 2,500 and 5,000 now.
I haven't seen that in forever.
That scares me more than his raises.
If it scares you, it scares me, buddy.
Raymer always raises the blind or folds. This time he's just called it, and that's unusual for him.
Borer gets out, Hilger gets out, over to John Murphy now with a 5-3 suited.
Home game cards, we like to call him. He's going to play them.
He's going to play. And that is Greg Turk from Vienna, Virginia.
He is in the big blind. It will not cost him any more to stay in the hand.
King 4, and he will play the hand. Why not? And to the flop, 3 players. Ace, Jack, 2. Murph Dog picks up a wheel draw.
Yeah, he's got a flush draw and a straight draw.
Turk checks, Raymer checks. And Murphy will bet 25,000 now to Turk, who will fold. And Greg Raymer raises to 65,000.
And he's raising with nothing, Lon. Absolutely nothing. He gets a call.
Turn card, 6 of spades. Nobody's made a hand yet. 2 big dogs at the table. Who's going to blink first? Check from Raymer. And 80,000 now from Murphy.
Aggressive play on just a draw.
80?
But this man knows aggression.
200,000 from Raymer.
I'm all in.
Oh, and Murphy comes back.
Oh, both trying to bluff the other out of the pot. Raymer blinks first.
And Murphy wins the hand and shows his rags.
We had nothing there, the boy. There's a guy with baby. You ain't gonna win this tournament without huh, baby?
That's right.
Well, the river card would have been a king. Raymer would have won it if he'd stayed in the hand.
Just don't be wrong. Or they'll call it the John Murphy blow-up instead of the Mike Matusow blow-up if you're wrong. Just don't be wrong.
I haven't been yet.
I like it.
Matusow likes the fact that his nemesis, Raymer, was just humbled.
And humbled by a 21-year-old rookie here at the World Series.
The youngest player left in the main event.
Ed Foster, also a World Series of Poker rookie. Looking at King, Queen. And he's reaching. 15,000 is the bet. Borer gives it up. As does Hilger. Now over to John Murphy. Jack 10 suited. Can't help himself, can he?
He's got playable cards and a lot of chips to burn.
He'll make the call.
Let's see what the other half of the kiddie core is going to do.
Tobias Persson. Couple of 3s.
They got to up the age limit here, man. Like 30 years old and you prove you had a shot of liquor at some point in your life.
He will call as well. Turk folds.
What can I possibly have here?
Over to David Angel. You talk about these other guys in their first World Series, 20th World Series of Poker for Angel. 1 bracelet in that time, and he'll make the call. And now the flop. Murphy comes up with a flush and straight draw.
Similar to the last hand, 2 draws for the price of 1.
Angel checks, Foster checks, Murphy reaches.
I love this guy here, man. This guy can do it, baby.
30,000.
I'm putting him on my hero list.
He's betting the draw again.
Now if only my hero could double me up and be a good friend, I'll like him even more.
David Angel folds. And Ed Foster folds as well. John Murphy has won the hand. He has become our first player this year over $1 million chips.
And he wins back-to-back hands on semi-bluff bets.
21. Check his ID. Maybe we'll kick him out.
ID check coming up.
Guess he don't look 21. He looks about 17.
Tournament director Matt Savage is going to check his ID.
I'm busted. I'm busted.
I'm trying to get them chips back in play, boys.
Hey, I hope so, man. I hope them chips just roll on out here, man. We can split them, you know?
Is it real?
1982. 1982.
Norm, I've never said anything, but I got to think your sports code is older than this guy.
I still have the receipt, and it's still under warranty.
That's incredible, man. Congratulations.
Welcome back to the 2004 World Series of Poker main event. About halfway through the dog days of the tournament. A lot of tired faces out there. Marcel Luske is dressed for success, and he is one of the big chip movers today.
Oh, say me bluffing.
Trying to get a read on Bradley Berman here.
Marcel, as you mentioned, dresses well, and he usually reads well.
And he will fold the Berman. Sometimes it's not all about winning, but about not losing too much. Meanwhile, Josh Arieh has been getting the cards today, has been one of the top stacks throughout the last couple of days. And once again, he will take that hand and increase that chip stack. An ever more powerful player, Josh Arieh. And for Dan Harrington in the green hat, it has been a very difficult day and about to get worse. He finds himself all in with 2 jacks against the aces of Glenn Hughes.
He's going to need a spade or a jack, or Dan Harrington is going home.
Turn card is a 6 of clubs, and the 95 world champion down to his last card, perhaps.
Third last year in the main event, and he will need a jack or a spade to stay alive.
It's a spade for Dan Harrington. He survives with a miracle on the river, and he can't believe it.
Glenn Hughes can't believe it either. Dan Harrington was halfway to the parking lot, and then the luck of the green came in, and he makes the river card, and he will be with us for a little while longer.
So Dan Harrington once again survives an all-in.
I am the master of the short stack. I got a better chance to win this tournament with a short stack probably than I do with a big stack. I have more heart than anybody. I ain't giving up.
I don't believe the Mike Matusow self-promotional machine ever takes a moment off.
Well, Greg Raymer so far has let his cards and his bets do the talking for him. He's got a couple of 8s right now, and he will raise the big blind to 14,000. Action to Ed Foster. And ace-queen unsuited.
Saw him with a couple of king-queens unsuited he had to look at. Now the ace-queen he will consider.
Fly fishermen are patient, if nothing else.
That's a good point, Lon. It really translates well to you.
And he will raise to 45,000. Borer folds, as does Hilger. The rest of the table folds over to Mike Matusow. He's got a king, ace, unsuited. Matusow just over 100,000 chips.
I'm all in.
And he's going to push them all in with his ace-king.
So the master of the short stack is going to put his tournament life at risk right now.
Action to Raymer now. He would love to take Mike Matusow down, but he is going to fold his cards.
What you got, Mike, approximately?
110 altogether.
Same as me. Oh, right, I've got a bit. Oh, cool.
And Ed Foster will take the challenge and try to knock Mike Matusow out.
And Mike Matusow in a terrific position.
Come on, one time, let me get lucky. Let me hold up the best hand one time.
A 3-1 favorite as we go to the flop.
Come on, one time, baby.
Foster and Matusow out of the flop.
Oh my God, I like mine.
8, 7, 5, no help for either. Matusow now a bigger advantage.
Keep him red.
Keep the clubs coming.
Turn card,
blank,
7 of hearts.
Blank, deuce.
And
deuce.
now on the river,
Deuce.
only a queen
Deuce.
would knock Matusow
Deuce.
out of the main event.
It is a queen.
No!
Ed Foster has knocked Matusow out of this tournament.
Why do I get deserve this?
A catastrophic hit to Mike Matusow, who never shies away from showing his emotions.
This game is brutal for people, man.
He's going to take that bad thing.
And before it's over, you might end up with something like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to be able to take it both ways. I mean,
No Mike Matusow blow up on that final hand, just plain bad luck.
See the call I made on the guy earlier? I played the best poker in my life, man.
Mike was going broke no matter what.
this is brutal as it gets right here.
Why do I have to choose this for a living? I gotta be the sickest person in the whole entire universe. Oh boy, I thought this was my year. Damn. How does that happen to somebody? Oh well. I ain't playing a nickel and dime, I'm playing to win. I'm happy. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Dang it.
It was moving day here at the World Series of Poker. We saw the rise of Marcel Luske to 3rd place in chips. Josh Arieh announced his arrival. He is currently 2nd. And atop the leaderboard, John Murphy, a 21-year-old World Series rookie.
Played one of the best games of my life today.
And the last remaining woman, Rose Ritchie, was eliminated from the field. But 3 former main event champions are hoping to reclaim their title and a piece of history. For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran from the World Series of Poker, where the 83 players left know it's not just skill that got them here.
It's good to be lucky.